I feel a little nervous today. I'm not normally nervous when I speak, but I feel compelled to talk about bail reform today, in part because of what happened in Waukesha. There's something wrong when people go to a parade expecting to celebrate and instead lose a loved one or walk away traumatized. That was a tragedy that we all hope to never occur again, and there were many problems in that case, but one of them had to do with bail. Perhaps we could think of it as a one-off problem, but the reality is that the Brooks case is not an isolated incident. Chad Marcinkiewicz stabbed a man in Milwaukee while out on bail in 2021. In the same year, Donta Roberts shot and killed someone while out on her bail. Trevon Adams was arrested in November of 2021 for a deadly shooting in Blooming Grove, Wisconsin. He had 7 open cases against him. In 2021 alone, he was charged with a felony possession of narcotics, 3 counts of hit and run, bail jumping, domestic abuse, battery, and disorderly conduct, amongst other charges. Each time he was released on low bail before eventually, and one might say inevitably, fatally shooting a man. There are too many crimes occurring by individuals awaiting trial with a lengthy record already attached to their name. While these might not get as much press as the Waukesha tragedy, every crime means that people are traumatized, harmed, or even killed. Soft on crime district attorneys and judges are allowing people to go free who are a danger to our communities. Their excuse is that the Wisconsin Constitution only allows for consideration of reappearance in the court in the setting of bail. And you know something? They're right. Article 1, Section 8, subparagraph 2 of the Constitution states, and I quote, monetary conditions of release. So we have the existence of monetary bail. Monetary conditions of release may be imposed at or after the initial appearance only upon finding that there is a reasonable basis to believe that the conditions are necessary to assure appearance in court. That is what our Constitution says. And that is why we need this amendment. We need to take away the shield from these soft-on-crime judges who are harming our communities. And we need to give a better tool to judges who actually care about public safety. That is what this amendment is about. It's about giving judges the tools to consider a variety of factors in setting bail. The new language would allow the court to take those serious situations into consideration. These are the same factors used, by the way, by those who recommend public safety assessments as a replacement for bail. In my opinion, we do not need to eliminate bail. We need to reform it so that it works to keep high-risk offenders in jail. By the way, the case for using public safety assessments in lieu of bail, I think, is substantially weakened by the Brooks case and others where the risk assessment tool is used and then ignored. This debate is not about low-risk offenders being stuck in jail, as some might suggest it is, because they can't afford bail. You'll hear that from some, but the language of the resolution is clear, that this is for serious offenders to prevent serious harm. The repeated word here is serious. Now, I know, well, there's no definition within this, but this is what we elect judges for. It is the judge who will still have discretion in setting bail. Hopefully we vote in good judges who set bail appropriately, and we can always vote in new judges if they do a bad job. That is why we elect judges, so that they are accountable. Now, some will say that we need to consider that the harm will be done to many in our minority communities by this high bail. Some have suggested that. But the truth is that not moving forward with bail reform would cause more harm to minorities. This constitutional amendment regarding bail is victim-centric. It is focused on preventing future victims. And the facts inform us that the vast majority of victims in Wisconsin, unfortunately, are African American friends. For example, only about 7% of Wisconsinites are African American. And yet in 2021, 67% of homicide victims were African American. Let me repeat that. Despite making up only about 7% of Wisconsin, African Americans make up 67% of homicide victims, Mr. Speaker. That kind of disparate outcome ought to alarm everyone. Furthermore, 50% of aggravated assault victims were African American as well. We care about these victims. Why would we not want to ensure that repeat offenders of violent crimes remain behind bars while awaiting trial? Do we want them to go out and harm another person that, as it appears, is statistically likely to be a minority? The real injustice would be done by not voting in the affirmative on this reform. As a government, our chief responsibility is to protect public safety. Our constituents, no matter their color, expect that of us. Without public safety, our lives, our liberty, and our pursuit of happiness is in danger. We have an ethical and moral responsibility to ensure that the people of Wisconsin are safe. This constitutional amendment will help ensure greater public safety. Thank you.
For those speaking today, remember to put